On the heels of daylight savings time, experts are highlighting the importance of slumber to your overall health. A 2020 study published in the journal Sleep Medicine looking into this finds what researchers have called detrimental health effects. Now, this includes an increase in myocardial infarction following the springtime transition and a rise in ischemic stroke following both daylight savings time transitions. Meanwhile, medical experts are highlighting the importance of getting a good night's sleep prior to a vaccination appointment. According to a new study published in the journal Current Biology on Monday, a good sleep can amplify and extend the duration of a vaccine's protection. Proper sleep has also been linked to better mental health and potentially weight loss. Well, joining us now to give us his advice on how to improve your sleep and, in turn, your overall health is Dr. Abhishek Raut, Medical Director at Appletree Medical Group. Dr. Raut, welcome back to Forum Daily.
Be here.
Now, considering daylight savings time is just a transition of about an hour forward or backwards, how does this have such a detrimental impact on a person's health, Dr. Raut?
Well, it isn't just losing that hour of sleep that's bad. It's this misalignment between the sun clock and the brain clock, as it were. And what that is that the biological clock is really synchronized to sunrise. So this misalignment, either forwards or backwards, creates basically a jet lag. So the closer our rhythms are synchronized, the better it is. But with daylight savings time in the winter, when you wake up and you'll go to work in the dark, that can certainly lead to problems with sleep, energy, and concentration. We see that everywhere. It makes it a lot harder for high school children and teenagers with delayed biological clocks to wake up and concentrate for their schoolwork as well. So that misalignment is surprising because it actually translates into significant mental and biologic stress. And the research you alluded to shows that, because it does show an increase in heart attacks, strokes, and cardiac arrhythmias with just that hour change.
Interesting to learn the correlation here. Now, I want to jump to this latest study on the success of vaccines and sleep. So, can you tell us a little bit more about the connection here?
Right. So it's interesting. Sleeping less than 6 hours the night before you get the shot can actually limit your body's response to the vaccine. Taking the vaccine is basically almost like going for a test. You're testing your immune system. They need to build more proteins to fight. So if you don't have enough sleep, you are not optimized for that. So good sleep not only amplifies, but also extends the duration of the protection of the vaccine there. The one odd detail in the study's findings, which are interesting, is that impact of poor sleep on the immune response was only scientifically relevant in men, which is surprising.
Surprising. Now, other than daylight savings time, some people still struggle when it comes to getting the right amount of sleep, Dr. Rout. So, what are some health factors to consider when people decide to sleep less because of maybe their busy schedules?
Right. So lack of sleep can cause a host of issues, unfortunately. Now, we might be familiar with some of the common ones: memory or mood changes, trouble thinking and concentrating, or even increased traffic accidents. But what we don't realize is poor sleep can cause a weakened immunity and high blood pressure, increased risk of diabetes, weight gain, and lower libido as well.
Interesting to learn the broader aspects of this situation. Now, how do you know the right amount of sleep for you? Is this a one size fits all scenario?
It's hard to say if there is a one size fits all. Generally, we would say 7 to 9 hours a night is ideal for most adults, but really it depends on genetics and it depends on your age. For instance, infants would sleep 12 to 15 hours, including naps, and teenagers need 8 to 10 hours. Whether we say adults typically need the 7 to 9 hours.
All right, Dr. Rout, just about a minute left here, but can you catch up on sleep over the weekend? We hear a lot of people saying maybe I'll have 5 hours sleep during the weekdays and 8 hours of sleep over the weekend. Is that possible? Can you catch up on your sleep?
Right. Short term, you can, but the big problem with this is we're going back to all the problems with daylight savings times. By creating a different sleep pattern on the weekend, your body isn't able to synchronize that well, and then you're stuck with all of those health issues. So, as a short term solution, it's helpful to catch up on sleep, but long term, it's not very helpful there.
All right, Dr. Rout, just less than a minute left here, but if you could leave us with one message for Canadians who may not be prioritizing their sleep right now, what would it be?
Right. So I'm going to start by saying the people I know who don't sleep enough are probably the most altruistic people. They're parents, healthcare workers, teachers, and they're sacrificing their sleep for someone else. So I do hear you, but remember, you've got to put that oxygen mask on yourself before putting it on someone else. So please prioritize your sleep.
All right, Dr. Rout, thank you again for your time today on Forum Daily.
Thanks for having me.